start. Hello. Um, yeah, it's been a long time. It's really been a long time, guys. I just wanted to make this video as a thank y'all for being there for me and for the community in general being such a nice place. You know, it's been here. I've only been here for 2 years, maybe four tops. I'd say because I really started considering like being a furry around 11th grade, maybe a little younger. But I've watched furry content for a long time. I don't know how else to explain it other than I kind of only watched most furry content back in the day when I was younger, back when I was anti-furry to torture myself. Because I secretly liked it and I wanted to rationalize it to myself. And, yeah, I just kind of said, yeah, no, I'm watching it because it's a cringe compilation or whatever. It's like this and third. I was always lying to my brother about that. My brother would always make fun of me, and guess he was right. I am a furry. You can see the beans. Um, yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about like my life story and stuff. Kind of give y'all a little insight into how I kind of came here as like a part of a thing to just like just say like part of a kind of like a happy 2 year anniversary, I guess, because I don't remember exactly when I became a furry exactly. While I don't remember that, I am gonna say probably around January, maybe February. So it's a little late. It's a little bit 5 months. It's like 5 months late, but who cares? It's really, but like it's been about 2 years since I first bought this first suit and officially became a full part of the furry fandom. So I just wanted to make this video. So when I was like, so I'm not gonna start when I was born or whatever. I'm not gonna do all that crap. I'm not gonna make an hour-long video. I just wanted to give y'all a rundown and show y'all like my give y'all a little insight to my life because it's a lot. It's really a lot of stuff that happened in my life. Like when I was so like I don't know how to start really, but I guess I'll start with why I listen to the music I listen to. So as some of y'all like, if some of y'all probably are on my Discord now. Not all of y'all. I'm not gonna name names, but not all of y'all are on Discord. Not all of y'all are actually, a lot of y'all aren't even joining my Discord at all. Yes, I have a Discord, link in the description. Or just add me at Camera Wolf. I think I'm gonna have to look it up. It's at Camera Wolf, Camera_Wolf is my account name, and then my username. And my account name for the account itself is Camera_Wolf. If you wanna join me on there, if you wanna add me on Discord, and the full-on username for it is Rocket the Soccer Fox. All one word. Yeah, all one word. About nasty. I just had a fucking hair in my mouth. Sorry about that. I guess I started why I started listening to the music I listen to. It's really a simple answer to this, right? It's really a simple answer to this because I think I've told y'all the music I listen to, or at least y'all seen glimpses of the music I listen to on like my TikToks and stuff, my little shorts stuff, TikTok, whatever you want to call it. Yes, I listen to rap, hip hop, reggaeton, cumbias, corridos, hyperpop, like basically really anything I listen to. But my main bread and butter is like really hip hop / reggaeton, right? So here's the reasons why I listen to that. It's really like a simple answer. It's because I just grew up around that stuff. I grew up like, and this I know is parent of the year. I know, right? My mom's parent of the year. She back in the day, she was parent of the year. Not Chris and Mom. I love you, Mama, but like I just wanted to say this right now. Parent of the year, best parent ever. But when I was younger, right, my mom would play mature music around me. Like I was like 3 years old, hearing Gasolina by Daddy Yankee almost every day. Hearing Biggie. I don't know any song. I don't really know many songs that are Big Papa. Yeah, Big Papa. Hypnotized. Like stuff like that. Songs like that. She would always play stuff like that, but she would never play like the regular. The lullabies and shit. She would always play like either like the most clean music she would play is like still it's just like country. Even then, it's still cursed a little bit, but it's like outlaw country and stuff, right? That was the cleanest music my mom would play. Most of the time, it was Bone Thugs, Tupac, Ice Cube, Kanye West, Eminem, Jay-Z, Daddy Yankee, J Balvin, like people like that, like just, people that, a little kid probably shouldn't really be listening to at the ripe old age of 3. On top of that, another thing I just want to talk about in terms of my life, in terms of how I got here, was how I grew up. It's just a brief history. So when I was 3 years old, I'm not trying to drag my dad through the mud or anything, but like my dad wasn't the best person in the world, and like I'm not gonna detail, but he got into an argument with my mom and left when I was younger, right? So yes, I do not break the stereotype that furries are fatherless. I am not helping stereotypes as a people, but my dad did leave when I was 3 years old. I'm not gonna go into specifics because I don't even think YouTube would even want to hear the specifics. Would even want to hear the specifics because of the fact that it's pretty gruesome what happened. And I don't, and on top of that, I still remember it vividly. It's one of the few memories that I genuinely have as a 3-year-old kid. I think it might be the only memory I have as a 3-year-old kid was seeing what I saw that day before my dad left. So for I'd say about 10, 12 years, my mom was actually, I take that back, not 10, 12 years. I'd say I was like 10 when my mom started dating my stepdad. And eventually that kind of, he kind of guided me the right way. They held a lot better job than my dad did. I mean, I still kind of came out messed up. I mean, look at me. I'm a messed up, mentally unstable furry, like, I wouldn't, like, no offense to the furry fandom, no offense to us people, no offense to myself. Well, actually, all the offense to myself, but still, I'm just gonna say this right now. We are probably not the most, some of us are not the most stable people. Not because we're furries, but because we're just, that's just how we were born. That's just how we were, and all the trauma we've been through. Well, I'm not exactly stable either. Go figure. Um, well, like, my stepdad helped a lot of my life and stuff, helped a lot of actually fixing my life and actually helping me out and actually, like being just a good father when my father wasn't even there for me. Then we go up to high school where during high school, I had the first of 3 friends in the last 2 years that died. 3 of my homies. He got one of my friends, actually 2 of them actually, were driving after hunting, right? They were coming back home. They're heading up towards the town up north by that's on what's called I-10, the highway on I-10, right? 'Cause the way my town is, like, so we're 30 minutes down south, 30 minutes up north, like is this town called Schulenburg, right? Where it's like I-10, right? Where it's like I-10 and stuff. So basically I-10 is like the main highway between Houston, San Antonio, and I think it goes, I can't remember, but I think it might go all the way to like El Paso. I think, I'm not too sure. I don't remember. I don't remember the distance of that highway. That damn thing is so freaking long that, like, it's so damn long. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes all the way to LA at this point. I would not be surprised. Nonetheless, that is a tangent that I should not be going on. One of the things that happened right when they were going back up to Schulenburg was the car flipped and both my friends ejected. One of them hit a tree and survived with minor injuries. Like, I mean, like, the reason why I say is minor injuries because I know he did go to the hospital. He did have a bunch of scratches and bruises, but he didn't have any major fractures. He just, he had to, be careful walking and stuff because how many scratches and bruises he had. He had to get treated for all kinds of shit. My other friend, he didn't make it, and he died in a gruesome way. He got crushed by the car, which if you know how heavy cars are, that's not a pleasant thing to be crushed under. The fortunate part is he didn't have to suffer long, which I know sounds like I'm happy for or whatever, and which I'm not. It really stressed me out. I like cried for a long time, but at least he didn't suffer for it. At least he didn't suffer a long, painful death. At least it was quick and painless. And that's the only like, and I know like that's kind of bad to say, like especially like, but it's like I like to look on the positive side of things. I like to look on the positive side of things, which is at least he didn't have to deal with full on pain. It was quick and painless for him, and he stopped. He stopped. His heart stopped immediately, and he didn't. Obviously, it's sad they didn't make it, but at the very least, he just didn't have to go through the pain. Which I could find solace in that was at least a painless death. So yeah, and that's at least the details I know. I don't like just so y'all know that's the details I know. But anyways, then I had two of my other friends. One of them a few months back in March. The other one was about a year ago. They did the exact same thing, had exact same circumstances. Somehow, like, and I'm not gonna say what happened, but it's like a lot of stuff happened with that. I cried for a little bit there for one of them. The other one, the second one, that happened to the second friend I had die in April. I didn't really cry for it because in a way I knew him as a friend, I guess you could call it. He was a friend to me. We were both like on good terms. We weren't like it wasn't like we were getting in fights every day or whatever. No, we were just we were on good terms. We were on talking terms at the time. We like talked every once in a while. Like we didn't really do much other than that. So I I didn't really know him as well, so I wasn't as emotional. I was still distraught about it, but I wasn't nearly as emotional. Which I will say is a thing that happens when you've had so many deaths in your life. And then my third friend, me and him actually got close in the last few months of his life before he passed on, and he basically, he basically we had a falling out after a while because he called me annoying. My other homies did not agree with that, like that I was annoying and stuff, like, which I will say for now I can get annoying, but it was basically a long argument. Basically, he said things, I said some things, we all said some things. I don't want to get into that because that shit just that was a terrible memory for me now. It's a terrible memory because I could have done something, I could have done some changing. If I could, I would. I would change history. I would flat out like apologize to him and say, look, I don't think I should have said, look, man, just don't be bullshitting with me and don't be trying to bully me and shit. Don't be trying to belittle me because you think you're better than everyone. That's what I should have said. But you can come. I should have sat down. We would have stayed friends, and he maybe would have actually lived a lot longer. Maybe he wouldn't be dead right now. But unfortunately, I didn't get to do that. So I just kind of have to move on. And yeah, it's pretty much my whole life. Like I've had, like I said, I grew up in violent neighborhoods before. And now I will say this: my life does involve a lot of moving in and out of places between my mom and dad's place, because the courts, if I remember correctly, the courts when I was younger put me under joint custody of my mom, my dad, and my grandma on my dad's side and my grandpa on my dad's side. Both of which have a lot of what's it called, have a lot of BS, between them, and very recently after that got divorced and stuff. So yeah, basically, that's one side of the aspect where I would literally spend school year. Literally, my mom would make me spend the bare minimum over here, like school year here. Every single break, I would spend most of the time at my dad's house, and I would come back. So I'd literally have two. There was literally multiple times throughout the time I spent at my dad's house where I was spending like multiple Christmases, where I had two Christmases in on the same time, where I would have a Christmas at my mom's house, get one set of presents, have a Christmas at my dad's house, get another set of presents, and be able to take them back. Thus, normally what would be like maybe what 20, 20 items, like total, like turns into like 30, 35 items. That's just how it was for me. Because I had to deal with all that growing up too. I mean, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this, but let's talk about the furry part now. Like I said, in around 2022, I'd say I started realizing that, oh crap, I might be a furry. Like, and you know how that feeling is when you kind of realize that you are something that you don't want to be at the time, but you realize, like, hey, look, like, you realize that you get closer and closer and actually experimenting with possibly being that specific thing that you are hesitant to even be because of what people think, and you actually enjoy it, and you to a point where you don't care what people think. That's what happened. And obviously, I was a little strategic about it in the sense that I told maybe two people total in high school, and somehow still kept being popular no matter what. Not even kidding. I was a poppy fur before actually being a YouTuber. And no, I'm not a poppy fur right now, but back in high school, I technically was a poppy fur because no one knew I was a furry, and I was a popular kid. Like, I had some deep connections with a lot of kids at that school. Like, everyone was on good terms with me. People would bully me occasionally, but that was the rarity. I will say that. Yes, I am not ashamed to be a popular person. Yes, I am not ashamed to be that. I'll go to a country school where the biggest problem isn't the fact that someone's a furry. It's more so the fact that some people are actually starving once they get home because we live in a poor ass town. It's gotten better over the years, and a lot of land's being sold right now. It's starting to turn into a little miniature suburb, but it's still pretty bad out here. I will say that. I'm not afraid of the consequences of saying my mind on how I think things are here in this area, because a lot of things out here are just kind of scary. And even with the good graces of having actually good Republican leaders in this state, in this county, yes, I will say that our leaders are obviously Republican, but they actually are good. They act literally. I'm not even kidding. They act more like Democrats than they do Republicans. Like, I wish I was kidding at all. Like, I wish I was kidding. Like, they genuinely act more like Democrats than they do Republicans. Like, they actually try to actually do their damn job and not just sit there and show up for only show. And that's the good thing about living in my town, is that people here are so tied up with actually dealing with the actual issues, such as motherfuckers selling fentanyl and meth and crack and all this other crap, that they're not going to bother people on social issues. Like, this might be one of the few towns in the country that the youth and old people in this town will collectively agree, yeah, no, fuck you if you're gonna sit here and be homophobic against someone. Like, I've never seen a town like that. But this is the town right here. If y'all moved to Houseville, Texas, y'all somehow managed to move here, just to know it's a lot more accepting here than it is in other places around the world, in other places in the U.S. Because the fact that, like I said, just people simply have bigger fish to fry than someone being gay down the street. Like, hell, I've had people that I never thought would defend gay people, like, defend gay people, actively defend someone who's gay from a homophobic teacher. I'm not even kidding. Like, I literally had two redneck guys on my school literally press up on a teacher. Not like press her up like physically, like get up in front of her face, but like actually press her like verbally about her rebuttal of a kid having gay dads. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, there's this kid in my school, tangent time, but there's a kid in my school who named T, as I'll call him T. T was this ADHD kid who came from Alabama. Got adopted by two gay guys at, like, I think it was like 12 or 11, 12 or 11, 10, 12 or 13, something like that. Came to high school with us, was in the grade below us for a few years, and left. But while he was here at my school, he was actually a pretty, like, everyone thought he was a chill kid. Everyone thought at first he was he was an annoying kid, but after a while, everyone started being cool with him, and he started actually being a cool kid. And one time, this Spanish teacher, right? I still don't understand how she was a Spanish teacher, considering half the time she literally would sit there and say the crazy shit. Like, I have so many stories about this teacher that I had to forget about because of how traumatizing they were and how bad they were. Like, she was weird. Okay, I'm just gonna say this right now. She brought literal dog doo doo into the class one time. I'm not even kidding. Shit stunk. I wish I was kidding. She brought that into class one time. And I'm not gonna name drop her or anything because I don't want people harassing her. If anyone harass her, that's none of my business. I don't want to be lawsuit against if someone finds this video or anything. But she said something. She was like asking this guy, like asking this kid about how home life was or whatever. Like because I'm guessing they we just kind of brought up the topic of home life randomly because it's like towards the end of the semester. We were all about to leave for like winter break. And so she asked him like, "Hey, how's like home life doing?" As just like an icebreaker, like just like just a casual icebreaker. Like, how's life been? How's like your parents been? So that they, just like a casual icebreaker. He said, "Oh, well, my dads are doing good." She's like, "I'm sorry, dads." He's like, "Yeah. What's wrong with having two dads?" She just kind of gave him this glare and then started trying to change the subject. One of my friends, Flout, said, "No, look." She said, "Look, man, he has two dads. I understand. He has two dads. That's whatever. That's whatever. Why you have a problem with him having two dads, two loving parents that love him enough to actually adopt him, love him more than his own parents did, who literally would rather do crack cocaine than his own dad. Like, be glad he at least has parents and not some crackhead straight parents who sat there and literally did drugs. I'm not even kidding. His parents were on all kinds of drugs at the time, and his mom, if I remember correctly, his mom died and his dad was in jail for drug possession and like some crazy shit. Like it was like some fentanyl heroin shit. Like damn near like bro was like on some federal shit, right? That's what his dad was on. His mom had died from an overdose, and like I said, because of that, he got adopted. And that's one of the few times where I've ever seen like that's one of the few times in a small town I'm not talking about like of all times. I'm talking about one of the few times in a small town in general. Not talking about not talking about in this specific town. I'm talking about in every single town in the country. Like I've never been to every country, but every single town in the region, right? Where I have actively seen a conservative kid defend a kid with gay parents. I've never seen that before until that point because of the general maturity of my school. Because like I said, we all went through shit. We had all went through shit for so long that we just kind of learned to stick together, and everything will be much better if we just stuck together and actually unionized in a way, I guess you could say. And that's just like that's just like how my town is, right? And like that's how life was here in this town. That's how life is here in this town. Is essentially it's a real quiet town if you want to live here for a quiet, peaceful life. But at the same time, it also is a growing suburban like area, not even near a city, but yet has some of the most diverse populations in the state, probably honestly, just by terms of percentages. But like, I grew up around violence. I grew up around a lot of different stuff. I grew up quite frankly, up until I'd say about 3 years ago, this town had a higher crime rate than the town next over, despite the town next over having the urban blight that of like I say like Detroit, where they may have had a large population, larger than us, but they could easily have like 10, 15,000 people living in the city if it wasn't for the fact that the government is ran by a bunch of people who get paid off but to let like one or two businessmen control like 90% of the city, and the other 10% is ran by like HEB and freaking Ace Hardware stores, which aren't big companies. Let's be honest, comparatively to other companies, HEB and Ace Hardware stores aren't the biggest. Now, is HEB the biggest here in Texas? Yes. Is HEB even outside of Texas? I do not know. I don't even think they are. I'm not too sure personally. I think they might just be a statewide chain, but I digress. I grew up around stuff like that. I grew up around people doing drugs. I grew up around people selling drugs. I grew up around all kinds of shit, right? Like I've had to learn to code switch because of how diverse my city was for a long time. And even it's got more diverse now. I have to especially code switch now because of how many types of different people are within the same area. Like you have like, and this is part of where my bipolarness in terms of being the polar opposite of one group and being the polar opposite of the other group comes in. When I'm with my friends from high school, right? Them my high school friends, which I'm not really in contact with anymore. I don't really text them. I only see them maybe once or twice a year, Maybe if they come by my work, I'll see them. Maybe if they come by, like maybe to text me to go to a party, maybe I'll go join them. They don't know nothing. They don't know about this lifestyle that I live. They don't know about the furry lifestyle stuff, and it works for me because that means because I get to keep friends. They don't have to. They don't have to know about stuff that about someone that they ain't really that deeply connected with anymore like they used to. And I also get to go to parties without having to worry about someone making jokes about it. About me, also lighthearted jokes, but still jokes nonetheless. Um, and then I have my other friends, my other IRL friends, my current friend group, which I'm in, which is basically the like just the idiots I hang out with, right? And I'm completely open to them right there. Some of the only people that I actually trust in the world at this point right now. And then I have y'all guys. Y'all guys are the other group I'm the most myself with, in which y'all have actually helped me chill out. Y'all have helped me do stuff and actually, get like actually want to change my life and make my life better. And for that, I thank y'all. And I'm sorry for going on too many tangents. I don't know. I'm not really good at explaining things. I need to really write scripts more. I really need to start writing scripts. But hopefully I'll see y'all soon. And for now, rock it out.